Good morning. If you have made it this far, you are ready to review the study guide and get ready for your test. Couple notices as you go through the slides. There is recordings to help you study and to review all the answers. There are also links on different words that you can select to go to different kinds of review material. Don't forget, pop into Teams if you have any questions during the day on Thursday.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion started. Wait, the earth began to cool, the autotrophs began to drool, Neanderthals developed tools, we built a wall. We built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery that all started with a big bang. Since the
Number 1, what causes our seasons? Be specific, and there are 2 factors. The first factor is the 23.5 degree tilt of our Earth, and the second factor is the revolution around the sun. Remember, it's revolution, not rotation. Rotation controls day and night. Revolution is one of the things responsible for seasons. Number 2, what does the term equinox mean? Equinox is approximately equal day and equal night. So that's about 12 hours of daylight and about 12 hours of night or darkness. Number 3, explain the difference between rotation and revolution and what each influences. Rotation means to spin, and it gives us the day and night. Revolution means go around something. In our case, we revolve or orbit around the sun. 1 revolution around the sun equals 1 year for Earth. Number 4, how are the seasons the same or different in the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere? Seasons are opposite in the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere. So when it is summer in the northern hemisphere, it would be winter in the southern hemisphere. Number 5, how would the amount of daylight in the winter solstice differ between a city in the Arctic and a city at the equator? On the winter solstice, a city in the Arctic would have no hours of daylight, while a city on the equator would have about 12 hours of daylight. This is because the Arctic is tilted away from the sun, so the North Pole is in complete darkness, while the equator receives about the same hours of daylight all year. It gets more direct sunlight, while the poles get less direct sunlight. Number 6, what is an axis and how is the Earth's axis special? An axis is the invisible line reaching between the North and the South Pole. Earth's axis is special because it is tilted 23.5 degrees, which gives us our seasons. Number 8, identify the seasons, date, and title, equinox or solstice, at each point in the seasonal diagram. A, in the northern hemisphere it is winter, while in the southern hemisphere it is summer. This would be the winter solstice on or around December 21st. B, it is spring in the northern hemisphere, while it is fall in the southern hemisphere. This would be our spring equinox on or around March 21st. C, it is summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere. This would be our summer solstice happening on or around June 21st. And finally, D, it is fall in the northern hemisphere and spring in the southern hemisphere. This is our autumnal or fall equinox. It happens on or around September 21st. Number 9, answer in detail the information pertaining to the Big Bang Theory. A singularity is a single point that is contained in the universe. The age of the universe is about 14 billion years. Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe is still expanding. The universe is all of space and existence, and the current movement of the universe is expanding outwardly slowly. Number 10, describe what happened during the Big Bang. Use words such as those found in the chart to the left. Our whole universe was in a hot, dense space. We call that a singularity. And nearly 14 billion years ago, the expansion started. It exploded, sending matter everywhere, which eventually began clumping together to make our planets. Edwin Hubble is responsible for discovering this continued expansion. Number 11. What did Hubble observe about the galaxies that provided evidence of the Big Bang Theory? Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe is still expanding, so it had to start from a single point. Number 12. What kind of galaxy is the Milky Way galaxy? The Milky Way galaxy is a spiral galaxy, and it is the galaxy that our solar system is a member of. You can see in the picture, we're not in the center, we're not at the edge, but we're in one of the spirals. Number 14. Beginning with Earth, or planets, list the following in order from the smallest to the largest thing in our whole universe. It would be planet is the smallest. A planet is part of a solar system. You will find a solar system within a galaxy. Our galaxy happens to be the Milky Way. And you will find lots of galaxies within our universe. So the order would be planet, solar system, galaxy, and then universe, if you are going from the smallest to the largest. Number 15, what two factors are necessary to keep our planets and moons on their orbit? The two factors would be gravity and inertia. Number 16, which has a greater gravitational pull or attraction to the sun, the Earth or the moon? The Earth has a greater gravitational pull or attraction because it has a greater mass than the moon. Remember, the greater the mass, the stronger the gravitational pull, and the closer objects are together, the greater the gravitational pull. Number 17, what two things determine the strength of gravity between two objects? Number 1 would be distance. The closer the distance, the stronger the attraction. The further the distance, the less attraction. And number 2, mass. The larger the mass, the stronger the attraction. The less the mass is, the weaker the attraction is. Number 18, what is Newton's first law of motion, the law of inertia, and why is it important? An object in motion remains in motion, and an object in rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. This is important because a planet revolving around the sun will continue to do so unless something stops it. Number 19, why did the planets in our solar system travel around the sun in an elliptical orbit? They travel around in the elliptical orbit because the sun's gravitational pull holds us there, and inertia keeps us revolving around it. Number 20, match the terms to their correct definitions. Retrograde rotation is C, the clockwise spin of a planet. It's opposite of the other planets. Gravity is A, a force of attraction between objects based on their mass and their distance. Inertia is E, the tendency of an object to resist change in motion until an outside force acts upon that object. Rotation is F, the spin of any body on its axis. Revolution is B, the motion of a body that travels around another body in space. Orbit is D, the path that an object takes in space when it goes around a star, a planet, or a moon? Number 21, describe the contributions each scientist made to the field of astronomy. Aristotle was an ancient philosopher who believed the Earth to be the center of our solar system. He also believed that when two objects dropped, the heavier one would drop faster. He believed in the geocentric model. Ptolemy wrote a book about the Earth, and he said it was the center of our solar system. He believed in the geocentric model. Copernicus was the first person to state that the sun was at the center of our solar system. He believed in the heliocentric model. Galileo provided proof that the sun is at the center of our solar system. Jupiter has 4 moons, and Venus has phases just like our moon. These were the proof he used. He believed in the heliocentric model. Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe is expanding, which provided proof for the Big Bang theory. He also believed in the heliocentric model. Number 22, what does heliocentric mean? What does geocentric mean? How are they the same or different? And which is accepted now? The heliocentric means the planets in the solar system revolve around the sun. The geocentric model says the planets in the solar system revolve around the Earth. They differ with which object is at the center. They are the same because they both describe how things are revolving or orbiting in our solar system. Our currently accepted model is the heliocentric model that says the sun is in the center of our solar system. Number 23, label the 2 models of our solar system. What is the model called? And explain how you know they are labeled correctly. The first model shows the heliocentric model of our solar system. I know that it's labeled correctly because the sun is in the center and all the planets and moons are revolving around the sun. The second is the geocentric model, and I know that it's labeled correctly because the Earth is the center of the solar system and all the planets, the sun, stars, and moons are revolving around the Earth. Number 24, list and describe major characteristics of each planet. Remember, my very eager mother just served us nachos will help you remember all the planets in their order. Mercury is the closest to the sun. It has hot days and cold nights, and it has no atmosphere. Venus comes next. It is the hottest planet. It's similar to Earth in size. It's hot because of the greenhouse effect, and the CO2 in the atmosphere. It has retrograde rotation. That means it rotates opposite of the Earth. Next comes Earth. It's the only planet that is known to contain life. Mars is the red planet, the largest volcano in the solar system. It's red because of the iron-rich minerals on its surface, and it has frozen poles. Next is Jupiter. It's the largest planet. It has the fastest rotation period, and it has a big red spot on it that is a storm. Number 6 in our solar system is Saturn. It has the largest ring system. It's the second largest planet, and rings are made of ice. It also has the most moons. Next is Uranus. It spins on its side, and it is the coldest planet. And finally, Neptune. It is the furthest planet from the sun. It is stormy. It is known as the Great Dark Spot. It's blue because of the methane in its atmosphere. Number 25, explain the difference between a meteoroid, a meteor, and a meteorite. A meteoroid is a small rock found in space. A meteor is a meteoroid that has entered the Earth's atmosphere and is burning up from the friction. A meteorite is a meteor that has made it through the atmosphere without burning up and has now landed on the Earth's surface. Number 26, where is the asteroid belt located? The asteroid belt is located between Mars and Jupiter. It is between the terrestrial planets and the gas giants. Number 27, describe what comets are made of and the shape of their orbit. Comets are composed of ice, dust, and rock. Some people call them a dirty snowball. They have a very elliptical orbit, and they orbit around the sun. When they get too close to the sun, they exhibit a bright tail behind them. Number 28, match the terms with their definitions. A comet is C, a small body of ice and rock and cosmic dust with an elliptical orbit that gives off a tail of gas and dust when close to the sun. Asteroid, E, a small rocky object that orbits the sun. Most are located in a band between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Meteor, a small body of matter from outer space that enters the Earth's atmosphere. Meteorite, F, a small solid piece of debris from an object, such as a comet, an asteroid, or a meteoroid, that originated in outer space and survived its passage through the atmosphere to reach the surface of a planet or the moon. Meteoroid, A, a relatively small rocky body that travels through space. Terrestrial planet, G, the inner planets closest to the sun, such as Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Gas giant or Jovian, B, a large planet of relatively low density consisting predominantly of hydrogen and helium, such as Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.